Hi, everybody. Thank you all for being here. We're blessed to have such great support. I know collectively and individually we've had just amazing support through the entire time Mom was in the hospital, and since that day that she passed on June 23rd. And we took a bit of time to delay the service, as you know, because we needed to gather ourselves in a way that felt as close to complete as possible before we could get here today. So thank you all, and I also want to make sure that I thank all the participants, all the attendees, all the people that are playing a direct part in today's service and in the reception later. CWL, I'm very touched by your involvement, and our great musicians and choir and our co-celebrants. Thank you all so much for that. And I also want to say that there have been some masses said for Mom, and I apologize in advance if I don't know all the locations, but go as far away as Pugville, in Mom's birthplace in what is now Slovakia, as well as here in Newsminster and Surrey and in Alberta. And there was even one said, I know Sylvia had one said, while Mom was ill, long before she passed. So really blessed by the mass cards, the mass services, and everyone that's donated to the charities that we listed in the obituary. It's very generous of you. We're really blessed by your support and generosity. I am Ben. I'm the youngest of four. My brothers are with me here. Junior, Dave, John. And it's an honor to speak today alongside all of my brothers, standing together in honor of their dear mother, sweet, lovely, and universally adored. I'd like to start by saying that Mom liked it when Dad would tell a funny little story. Because he wasn't really a great joke teller. He was a funny man, but Mom was the joke teller. So when Dad did get one right, Mom quite liked him to retell it a couple times. And so Mom was a great storyteller and a great writer and a great resource of history of our family and whatnot. So, but Dad had a neat little story that was appropriate here. He talked about the priest, the young priest that came out to give his first sermon, his first homily. And he came out, and I'm sure he was nervous, but he came out and was ready to go, and came out and there was only one person in the pew. There's just one person in the pew, and one person congregation does not really make a congregation. So he was a little off stride. He didn't know what to do. He just was honest to the gentleman and said, "Sir, I don't know what to do. I was expecting a lot of people, and you're the only one here, and I don't know what to do." And the man looked at him and said, "Well, Father, I'm a farmer, and I know that if I went out to the field and there was only one cow that showed up, I'd feed him, but I wouldn't necessarily give him the whole load." So, with that, I'm actually going to ask for a little latitude because there's certainly more than one of you here today. So, thank you very much for that. So, we're going to tell a few stories about Mom. A lot of people will talk later at the service at the Campbell Center, which we hope you will join us in. So, I couldn't possibly cover everything. Seeing there's so many here today, I'm going to trust that you'll allow me that time. But it would be impossible for me to cover off a life of 85 years, a beautiful, lovely life of our Mom, and to describe adequately with a few stories and notes, as Mom is far too important for us to even begin to think that all could be covered today. And I'm pleased to remind all of you, and I have to remind myself and all of us, that this is not our only chance to celebrate our Mom's life. This is a great opportunity. This is a big opportunity. We can carry all our memories with us for the rest of our lives. And we're going to do that. And I could not possibly do justice to it with mere words as to how much she means to us and to her great brother Tony, our uncle, and everyone in the Shelling family, and all of the Doyles. Whether here today with us physically or in spirit, and your thoughts and wishes from sent near and far. So again, at the Campbell Center, I do hope you'll join us for some of those stories as well. Some ask, why do people have to die? And Father McConnell just spoke very beautifully about that, talking about that very theme. Many of us, when faced with the death and grief of a massive loss of a loved one, ask why. Why do people have to die? My brother BJ and I share a like of a show that addresses this point very well and succinctly. The answer: to make life important. And indeed, how could our lives be important? They never came to an end. The scarcity of time, the limits of our existence, is precisely why we need to value our lives and our loved ones. I know we've done that. We're doing so good. Mom did. She was very good at valuing her family and friends. She was many things to many people, day in and day out. Mom's entire mindset revolved around her family and friends. She cared about people. She cared about people she didn't even know. But her friends and her activities were all about friends and family. And simply put, she loved us all. She would do nice things, thoughtful and supportive things, each and every day. Mom was blessed to be a lot of things to a lot of people. She was a daughter, sister, wife, mother, grandmother, uncle, aunt, cousin, and a dear friend. And that is where I'd like to start, with Mom's friends. So many wonderful friends. Thank you all. Thank you for your love, your care and friendship with Mom. With all of you, it's been a lifelong and great big warm embrace. Friends from all walks of life. I can't attempt to single out any of you. I would never do that because there's so many of you. And that's the key point. That all of you are so caring, so kind, and so wonderful. And Mom was all those things to you. And that's why you have such strong and lovely friendships. So thank you all for loving Mom. And for sharing great times and tough times. For being there for one another. We know you will keep Mom in your hearts and do so as you continue to share great relationships with one another. And she gathered friends wherever she'd go, wherever we lived. And those places she resided were as follows: in Putbill, then Czechoslovakia, until she was 8 years old. And she moved to Brookmere, British Columbia. They lived there from 8 until she was approximately 14 when they moved to Queensborough and Meath, the Royal City. Living there from the age of 14 until 26. They were married to Dad, Bernard Hawthorne. Then they moved to Coquitlam, later to Victoria in Surrey, where I was born. These gents born over Surrey, and in the early 70s we moved into our longtime home, marking Mom's return to and in fact the home she grew up in with her parents, sister and brother, and later uptown to Westminster in 2003 with Dad, and now into her latest residence, the Woodward, from November 2014 on. No matter where we lived, Mom made it a home. She was the most beautiful of homemakers. She had great taste. She did nice things for all of us, family and friends, household members, and treasured guests, always. The Get Better song. That was a song until very recently I kind of wondered if it was just all my own, the one Mom would hum to me when I was sick or just needed a tuck-in, which was a nightly request. And I found out that all 4 of us sons got that. It was her tradition, and we didn't know it was her tradition with each one of us. BJ, 10 years ahead of me, got the tune Hum Sweetly to Him, as did Dave, John, and I all the way down the line. Being generous and equal with her love for all of us was indeed a deliberate habit of Mom's. And singing to us the fun song Kimo Kaimo, which I believe was made famous by Nat King Cole. So speaking of songs, there's just some brief lyrics here reminiscent of Mom's word that I really like. What makes a house grand ain't the roof or the doors. If there's love in a house, it's a house for sure. Tom Waits. Love was part and parcel to her beautiful nature. Mom indeed had a profound love for family and friends, and consequently her death is a profound loss for all of us. Her 85th birthday was going to be a big party. We had to downsize after Mom got uneasy over the festivities. In previous years, when she got wind of a plan, she told us she was going away for her birthday. Yes, she loved to shower people with attention on their birthdays and special milestones, but she didn't seek that level of attention when it came to her own big milestones. So we downsized to a family-only party last October, but it was great. One thing I'd just like to let everyone know about that was Mom's party and Mom made goodie bags for all the guests. We had to celebrate her 85th birthday. Wow. I'd like to share some excerpts from her written stories. Mom's a beautiful writer. They were published in a book called En Route, local writers group, Eastminster Strawberry Writers Group. Here's some excerpts from a story entitled Queensborough as I Saw It. She opens with a description of her family coming to Queensborough from Brookmere, quote, a small village just off the Coquihalla Summit. She goes on to describe that originally they came from what was then Czechoslovakia. She writes, Dad preceded us by 8 years, as it took that long for us to join him. He worked for 25 cents per hour to earn enough money for our passage from Slovakia. And, quote, Brookmere consisted mostly of railroad workers. We had the engine turnabout and a water tank with which the locomotives could fill up their engines to continue the trips to the Kettle Valley Railway. We had a one-room schoolhouse from grades 1 to 6, a general store, post office, tennis court, and one gas pump. When it came time to further our education, Mom and Dad rode the train to Newsminster and found out that we had some friends and relatives living in Queensborough. So that was it. We moved there. They bought a double lot at the south end of Wood Street with a 2-bedroom shack on it. There was a pipe on the back porch for water and an outhouse in the backyard for a total cost of $1,500. When we arrived, it was quite a culture shock for my sister and me, and we were devastated having to leave our friends behind. We were not affected by the war except for the rationing of certain foods such as syrup, sugar, jam, meat, etc. And Dad kept telling us how lucky we were to be here just before the war broke out. We had many other nationalities also in Queensborough. It was also nothing to hear at least 10 different languages on the local bus going into town. We called this our own United Nation. She goes on to describe the industry in Queensborough at the time with the grief in the mills, but also how by the spring, quote, I love the sound of the frogs and watching my mother enjoying her garden in the daytime. She mentions an earthquake in 1946, a flood in 1948. Mom was a great historian, truly. Her stories are rich in detail, a natural storyteller in many ways, and her memory was as sharp as her descriptions were beautiful. And that's all the way, folks, like right to the end. Still, everything was light was on all the time. Later, she described her return decades later to living in Queensborough and enjoying the treehouse that was built during the early 90s by son John and our friend Kevin Broad, who's the architect. She loved that treehouse, as did the numerous kids that got to play in it. Mom threw parties for kids from all over. I would show up, and there'd be all kinds of kids, and I'm like, holy smokes, I don't recognize any of these kids. I feel I'm in big trouble. I probably know them all, and I didn't, because they're all from the neighborhood or from other places. And you'll see pictures of that later. From her story, An Act of Bravery, it describes Mom's experience with the Christopher Leadership course offered by the church. In essence, it was a public speaking course that included Christian philosophy. A friend told Mom about it and told her of her good experience with it, and she encouraged Mom to enroll. She tried to get another to join with her, but ended up going in alone. To help her stay the course, she paid for all 10 sessions in advance. According to Mom, there were about 18 students, and, quote, they all looked so young and confident that I almost left. Mom described being so petrified as it came time to speak a little about herself. But she told them that even though it appeared she was the youngest of the group, quote, I look forward to the challenge. She said she surprised herself that she said that. And each session had her wondering if she'd continue, but she did, week in and week out. 4 others dropped the course, and Mom admitted to feeling a bit pleased with herself for sticking with it. Their graduation dinner would involve 50 to 60 people. Mom's brother Tony and I were there. Mom credited me with giving her the big final night's topic as she spoke about her S&D club, as she put it. That subject I knew well. Well, yes, she did, and Mom gave a great and funny speech to the crowd. At the end of the evening, the 2 instructors presented a student with the Christopher Leadership pin, which was voted on by the classroom peers. Mom wrote, as they spoke about this student, I suddenly realized they were describing me. I could not believe my ears. It was me. She remembers shaking as they called her back to the podium. She wrote, This award was not for the greatest or the most composed speechmaker, but I believe it was for the pure perseverance of just hanging in there. Whatever it was for, I was truly inspired and honored to receive it. And that was in late 1994. Well done. So well done. She would go on to write stories through the years, including recent years. One details the challenges associated with her broken head, as the original device from 1993 gave way 15 years later, development that led to many challenges, multiple surgeries over the next few years. There's another great one entitled A Windfall Journey that describes the massive trip Mom and Dad took to Europe in 1976, taking her back to the Czechoslovakia, this time with their baby in hospital. This was an amazing trip, made even more special because Mom won a contest, a trip for 2 Eddie United pounds. There's a special Reflections of Christmas Past, a piece that she penned that opens with a description of an exciting European Christmas day it had in their little village of Cooking. The story is filled with vivid memories, mostly sweet, but one devastatingly sad memory, and also one amazing recollection of joy. On that note, Mom wrote, in September 1947, God answered Mom's prayers by blessing us with an addition to our family, the beautiful baby boy. Dad named him Anthony after St. Anthony, but he became just Tony to everyone. I was so thrilled to have a baby brother. In spite of the 17-year difference in our age, Tony and I became very close. I was so proud of him and loved to take him everywhere. Mom seemed to have a new lease on life, and Dad was so proud to have a son. Although Tony could never fill the void of Adele's absence in our home, he certainly brought us all a lot of joy. This was quite the piece. It also included her marriage to our dad, Bernie, in 1956, and Tony's marriage to Diane in 1972. And Mom credited Diane Scott for insisting that they carry on the Slovak traditions of Christmas. Quote, I loved her for that. Mom was amazing to travel, a fun travel friend and partner. She had considerable skill, energy, and enthusiasm. She did trips to Europe with Dad in the mid-70s, as mentioned, with Tony and Diane in the early 2000s, with me in 2005, and with girlfriends in the past 10 to 12 years. We really love European cruises. During her last one, she got to know the head chef and his wife. She came back raving about the crepes and the omelets they made. And she was our ace when Dave and I were with her in New York City. So many people helped us due to her cane. Mom had a cane. She didn't have the walker that trip, just the cane. But we wound up getting perks all over that. We just saw her tables right in the Empire State Building. We were going to have to walk down the stairs. And no, Mom, we had a table right in the main part. Right up front of David Letterman's studio, we had tickets. And the lineup was way around even if you had tickets. And they saw Mom, and they said, oh no, just wait right here. So we got to sit right, or stand right by the entrance. We got away with it. So, and in Halifax, our immense trip, our return to Pier 21 in Halifax, where Story in Canada got started, we went back there. John, Dave, Mom, and I went there in 2009. Mom had a great love of live musicals, theater. Was immense. She also loved good movies and was a faithful, as she put it, news junkie. Some of her favorite songs from musicals, I Could Have Danced All Night from My Fair Lady, and from South Pacific, Happy Talk, D10 Wall. You've got to be talk when there ain't nothing but a day, like a day, sorry. And many from West Side Story, including Maria and Tonight, and lots more. And she loved Shania Twain. She did concerts with Dad, and more recently, not that long ago, with Tony, Tree Among the Big Night downtown. They arrived in style in Diane's convertible and Mom's red cowboy hat. There it is. Red cowgirl hat, I mean. Lyle Lovett, she came with me to see Lyle 3 times. Seattle, Vancouver, Berlin. And the latter was the most recent time. It was 4 years ago today, or yesterday, on our late father's birthday, July 4th. It was a magical evening. One of my favorite evenings. Had no trouble. Everything, traffic, parked right beside the place. Absolutely amazing show. And again, all these ladies around her were helping her get in and out of her seat. She probably met six or eight people that day. Mom has also been a great volunteer. She volunteered at Queen's Park Hospital, bringing patients to hear their masses, prayers within the hospital. Her S&D club fund also includes sewing the badges for the summer games and sponsorship of a child from a developing country. Involved with the Catholic Women's League, early days of the Royal City Go-Go's, which is we included in the obituaries, also connected to the Grandmothers campaign, the Student and Women's Foundation, and I know that a lot of you already donated, and we're really grateful for that. Thank you. She was a giant organizer and helper when it came to throwing a party for anyone except yourself. So, and among her legacy, there's a beautiful picture, enlarged photo, or a mural in Queensborough Community Center, Mom and your cousin Allison. And it's just beautiful. They're in Slovak and traditional clothes, and it's a wonderful picture. It was much later that we went to Brookmere, a place that she moved to when she was only 8. And heard stories of people who went to Brookmere as a family, and we were able to look at the house they grew up in. We couldn't get in, we could look in. But then on a return trip, we were allowed, and I don't know how it happened, but we were able to find in some of the barn the original table that she sat on as a girl in that they would have rooms on. And to Mom, it was a giant table, and it really was about this big. And we've got it, and it's gone. She saw the railroad memorabilia, and she was actually entertaining the idea of becoming the collector of the museum, because she didn't want it all to go into, all different directions. So, and we stayed there in the new accommodations. We were one of the first family to do that. A lot of you probably remember Mom as being a very good-natured prankster at times too. I don't know if I was her only victim on April Fool's Day. She got me almost every year. Started when I was a little kid, and she'd put salt out instead of sugar for my cereal, things like that. And in recent years, she would still prank me, and I'd know it was coming. And I honestly, my roommates can attest to this, because they could hear me like laughing. Mom would still get me, even though I knew it was April Fool's Day. I don't know how she was managed to do it. And I gotta say, I did get her in this last April. Mom has a great love of zucchini sticks at White Spot. So all I could think of was, what's a harmless prank? And I phoned her and told her that they discontinued them because the price of vegetables is so high. So I'm proud of it. Anyway, pick one. So there was an infamous political prank. I'll tell you about my friend Mike's, and proud of you to remember that. Mike and I used to argue politics when we were young. We knew nothing what we were talking about, but we had conviction. And Mom got a kick out of us all the way down the lane yelling at each other. And Mike would threaten to go home, and then I'd say, good, go home, and then we'd argue for like an hour. Well, Mom had a great love for Trudeau here, I love Trudeau. And she Pierre Trudeau was her favorite. Mike's parents were big in the Conservative Party at the time. And on a Saturday afternoon, a lot of times your entertainment's going to be whatever your parents are going to do that day. So Mike asked me to go to a Conservative rally. And fun, it's always fun with the Cassids. But Mom made me a shirt to wear. She made me a shirt that said, I love Trudeau. And it was, and I don't really think I got the significance of this. I still like just walking around there, like no problem. She snickered as I went out the door, and that was it. So we get to the rally, and I remember all these very well-dressed, nice ladies coming up to me going, oh no, and start plastering me with stickers, plastering my entire shirt. So I come home later with my shirt plastered with stickers, and Mom was on the floor. That was so funny. She didn't feel bad at all. She didn't, her son's out there getting plastered with these stickers. I was a little terrified, I guess. It was fun. And Mike and I already agreed we're going to delay our politics on Sunday. We're going to get back to it. So, in terms of Trudeau, I mentioned her love of Trudeau. Really did love Pierre Trudeau. She also was a big fan of U.S. President Barack Obama. When we were at Madison Science in New York in Manhattan, Dave and I and Mom, it was the day that Obama was named the Nobel Peace Prize winner, that very day. Well, Mom rushed up to his wax figure like she was right with him. And we've got a picture of it, and she's so, the look of absolute adoration on her face looking at him was beautiful. And so it was very exciting to see that. And I think there's a chance you'll see that photo later. So his election win was was again such a thrill that she had a combo Canada-US flag, and we waved it at the TV the night of this inaugural US presidency in November of 08. Mom had been in the hospital. It was quite a serious situation, but she was allowed to. She got special permission to come home that night. And her passion and love prevailed, and Barack won the election, and Mom was extremely happy. But I gotta say, there were actually two things she hated. This beautiful, lovely person, there were actually two things she hated. Basketball. She said it was so unfair to short people. It really upset her. And so when it would be on TV in for a minute, she was, oh great, my favorite basketball. And she'd never roll her eyes like that about anything except that. And then the other one was a carpet store by the name of End of the World. She claimed that the name was so stupid. She just goes, I can't believe she would get mad at anything, but that drove her. It was just so dumb. And honestly, I was hearing her say that for 20 years. Back to the positive stuff. Mom's an amazing cook, in fact, a great gourmet. Roast beef, Yorkshire pudding was always a special treat. Roast chicken, her famous lifesaver on Christmas morning. A tradition now handled by Karen's great food. Cabbage rolls, Chinese food. She would learn to make anything and do it well. Amazing breakfast. I just asked my boyhood friends, starting with Mike, who lived down the lane. He picked me up each morning to walk to school, both in elementary, Herbert Spencer, and high school, and WSS. And he'd come, and Mom would always make him cinnamon toast or cheese on toast, a couple of his favorites, and the famous dish was her delicious Slovak pancakes. And I know that Mike showed up a half hour early before that. He said it was to wake me up, but I know he came there to get breakfast. I just had a call with another great friend here in California, and he brought up the same amazing Slovak pancakes. And as Dave reminded me last night, the special scrambled eggs that chopped bacon right into the eggs. When we were in school, I recall cake contests among banter and knit in all school fairs. She'd bake cookies and bring them to school anonymously until I'd get the same treat at dinner, and then I'd know it was her. And she just had a snicker with shamrock cookies, I remember. I remember because another friend of mine tried to take credit for his mom. When I got home, he said, she made other sweets like roshki, sweet treat, poppy seeds, and her famous blueberry butter. She would make it exciting. I'd listen to Canucks, or she would listen to Canucks, and when they'd score, she'd run to the top of the stairs, she'd yell out the score to me, and knit Canucks stuff for me in recent years. And I know Ashley and I were surprised at some of the stuff Mom was watching on TV. She was a faithful viewer of Saturday night. Even in how bad it is a lot of them. But she still watched 20/20, 60 Minutes, CNN. There was a show, Rules of Engagement. If any of you know that show, it's a rather risque comedy. Well, I was watching it one night, and I thought, this is actually a pretty funny show. It's pretty risque. But a few days later, Mom goes, do you know Terms of Engagement? And she always messed up the titles of it. Rules of Engagement. And it was this comedy, this sex comedy that she watched and she would not miss. She loved David Spade's character and loved the show. And it was just funny because she would stay up till 1:30 in the morning even though we could record it. And so Mom and Dad both sort of did that. They mess up the titles of things. And my last birthday card from Mom, she bought PJ tickets to see Once. She wrote, I'm looking forward to Once. What is it now? That's what she did. Seinfeld, she was a huge fan. House, loved him, the TV Doctor by T. Lori. She even loved a lot of the commercials, the A&W ones, especially with Ryan Doyle being his sidekick. Cheers to Dave reference Mom when she was working in Fancy Gardens. She met Ted Danson, he was on the set. They were shooting there, and she ran over to say, my son David loves your name. And he shakes her hand and gives her a little smile and says, oh, thank you. She was so thrilled to meet him, but also so she could tell him. She met Sam from Cheers. Archie Bunker, All in the Family. Mom and Dad loved that show, as well as Carol Burnett. In recent years, she got to see Carol Burnett and also got to see one of her favorite film Broadway stars, Mitzi Gaynor, who she and Dad met many years ago at the famous nightclub The Cave in downtown Vancouver. Global TV Squire Barnes, she loved him, and I bumped into him and told him that, and he said hi to him. Jimmy Fallon loved him too, and lately she said she was even giving Stephen Colbert a chance. While in New York City, her trip to see Dave Letterman, I mentioned how it was a great trip. But with world news, I get uneasy with each disturbing development and wanted to shield Mom from it. There wasn't any chance of that because she knew it was happening for most people did. And then there's the light stuff, the news and story. I was concerned about her because she loved Tiger Woods. And then when the scandal broke, I was worried about how Mom was going to happen. Well, we went to see Tiger, the PGA champion, not the championship, but Sahali in Washington State. And Dad went right to a viewing area, and we said, we'll catch up in a bit. And we said, Mom, Tiger's group will be in here in about 45 minutes. She goes, let's wait. So we stood by the tee box, and eventually Tiger shows up, and he sits, or he stands right beside Mom. And the rope's like that thin, and I can't see Mom's face. And we got to stay still for a good minute because I had to wait. Yeah, so it's about 10 minutes. I don't know how Mom's doing it. All of a sudden, the Tiger finally tees off. They walk over to her, and they go, oh, now he turns around, she goes, he's beautiful. She was so excited. And then later on, she was giving autographs on the practice green. And our Uncle Ben, my Uncle Ben, our Uncle Ben, was there working with Steve Elkington at the time. Mom was getting a bunch of autographs. She was very excited. She also had a love of Justin Bieber before the Bieber scandal. We don't talk about that as much. I do have to mention her special club, the S&B, Stitch and B, that is. I love when it's Mom's turn to host an S&B party. The ladies are so much fun and always so nice to us kids. I was a fairly shy kid back then, but they always made me feel like $1 million every time I saw them. I'd love hearing them partying along as I was upstairs in my bed, supposedly sleeping, but too excited to listen to the noise of laughter and the fun going on downstairs. They were a boisterous bunch, and they allowed guests now and then. They kept the membership small. The S&B members were amongst her deepest friendships, her strongest relationships. She had many of the strongest, but others were great core and deep and everlasting. And together they endured the passage of time and the challenges of life. And they made life fun with and for one another. And sadly, this sweet but small club has now suffered the loss of four members. Prior to Mom, they lost Mooney Swift, Pat Harrison, Mark Beachdown. Their friendships, of course, extended to the husbands, and many great parties were had. And when the men were allowed to attend them, we'll see some pictures of this when we get to the reception. From Mom's story, she wrote, special friends comes excerpts such as this. We take turns hosting dinner parties. We feed the children first, and our husbands would make themselves scarce. We enjoyed many great times together. We limited our membership to 8, as it was the perfect number on our dining room tables. Our group started out doing quite a few crafts and Christmas decorations. We filled boxes for the poor and snacks for girl and 8 for 10 years. We started with bridal showers and then added baby showers, birthdays, anniversaries, picnics, and all. We also filled 18 to 20 photo albums over the years, and every now and then we bring out to reminisce. At the hall, if you want to know, I'll tell the story of Mom meeting Rocket Bouchard. I didn't think it was him, but I I'll say that. She kind of mocked the rocket and grounded him. I'll tell you that later. I do want to tell you that Mom never wanted the money after she had a slip and fall personal injury suit in 1993. It was a devastating injury, required a totally new hip. She was then a reluctant litigant in a personal injury lawsuit due to presumed negligence on the part of the property owner. A few years later, it culminated in a modest settlement of $6,000. This was 1996. Mom was uncomfortable about the whole thing. She knew the family who owned the store, the woman was a friend, and she was the one putting on her knees. That woman was putting on her knees on the lawsuit, recognizing it was a legal matter that required a remedy. In the end, Mom didn't want the money. She told the lawyer he couldn't. The lawyer explained that he could not do that. And so, Mom ended up donating the entire sum of $6,000. And she chose 3 places to devote it to, $2,000 apiece. Caveat Youth Challenge was an organization I and others here involved in for many years. Mom provided a huge boost with their donation to a highly special event for students. She donated toward the seed money for a bursary in memory of Angie Richards, a dear friend of many of us here, and so many of us were. And she donated $2,000 to Hip Hip Hooray, which assisted people who had undergone negligence in society. So the lawyer told her he'd never had a case experience like that with a client successful with their suit, donate all of the money. He was surprised. We went. Incidentally, Mom, at the Scabic presentation I did in 2004, just after Dad died, we were clinging on to one another every day. And so she came with me. She stood up at the end of my presentation. It was a giant surprise to her. She stood up at the back. She said, she wanted to praise me for what I was doing as a volunteer, and now she was worried about me, but now she saw the good I was doing. It's just a very emotional scene there, and touched everyone in the audience. And she dedicated a lot to Caveat, her own time and money and baking and things like that. And many of you know that Mom was a cancer survivor. She had cancer in 2000, survived for 15 years. Had surgery and was cleared. She also had in total 4 hip surgeries, and that's really what slowed her down in the last couple years. Mom and the other patients across the room in our hospital, now just very near the end here, they wave and smile at one another. One had a stroke, and the other one was short of their condition, but they would smile at each other. And Mom was concerned that she couldn't speak, her voice was she didn't have the power of her voice. She felt bad. They thought she was not trying to walk. She said, she's still very considerate. And so, just a bit about the hospital. All of us, we had one great day there with the family and friends. It was obviously a very difficult process, the last parts. And the pain, the growing concern, things deteriorated quite fast. And I'm just going to thank everyone in our family that was there and that was keeping in contact with us, whether you could be there or not, because I've always known I've got a great family, but holy smokes, did I ever learn how much power within our family and the women of our family and how they take care of us all the way down the line. Truly blessed. Months ago, just the thought of Mom not being here, I wouldn't have imagined being able to talk about her to all of you like this. But the strength from the family and our friends and our co-workers and everybody is really a boost to us. And I'd just like to thank everyone on behalf of all my family for all the support that's been given to the family. So, shortly after Mom passed at 7:39 p.m. on Thursday, June 23rd, those of us there, many family members, gathered ourselves as best we could. My sister-in-law Karen went to the window and said she was looking for the rainbow. Eventually, we began leaving the hospital about an hour later. We decided that all of us should go straight to Mom's condo, strengthened by one another's presence. As we did, one of us called out, "There's a rainbow, there's a rainbow." And sure enough, there was. Listening down on us. I swear it did not come raining. Ashley would later say, "That's so loud." As we drove along Richmond Street, passing the cemetery where Dad's grave marker is, which Mom's behind, the rainbow was in perfect view, guiding us as we made our way. And last night, Angela, Joan, and Advocate saw one last night on the way to the Oh, in closing, I just want to mention, Mom and I took an amazing trip to Europe in 2005. And one of our locations was Rome, St. Peter's in Rome. I'm in St. Peter's today, and got to St. Peter's in Rome. And we decided, and Mom was in great health, and we were whipping around Paris and Munich and places. And we decided to take the option of climbing up the dome, spiraling around the narrow, seemingly endless steps. And there were like signs saying, if you want to bail out, basically, this is your chance. A bit daunting when you get spiraling down and claustrophobic. Okay, we're doing it, we're going, and the only people you know are the people that are right behind you and right ahead of you. So And as we're going, Mom calls out with such a smile and enthusiasm in her voice. She says, "We're almost in heaven." It's not almost in heaven. You were there. God bless your soul. I love you, Mom. We all